Chickasaw. It's me again, Defense Guy Joe Spinelli, going ahead and bringing you another pre-council and council meeting. I do want to apologize for putting this out so late. After the meeting we had, there were some things that were brought up that I wanted to wait a little while before I actually sent this out, and I had to wait till after May the 1st. Also, I had some time with the family this weekend that I didn't want to miss out on, so I put all this to the side. That way I could deal with work, my family, and also to try to get some feedback on what happened at the council meeting. I know that some of you are probably trying to figure out what's going on, why we're not doing questions by the campfire. We're still doing that. We just haven't done one in a little while. At the First Responders Crawfish Bowl that we had a month or so ago, we had a chance to talk with the council and the mayor, and we decided that what we're going to do is try and work together and see if we can tackle some of the issues that we're having in the city together, and see if we can make it a better place. We do realize that some of the issues we're just not going to agree on, so we have agreed to disagree on things. That's already happened, and we're trying to work with them as best we can. One of the things that we brought up to them was the situation we're having with our sewer and trash. At the present moment, we got like $240,000, $260,000 worth of debt to our sewer bill, and that a lot of that's coming from tenants that live in the city, not so much the homeowners. I'm sure there's a couple of them out there that also owe some money, but this is the majority is the tenants, because we have 60% of the citizens in Chickasaw are tenants. The rent's really low here in Chickasaw, as everybody knows, and it's also because of the low millage that we have. It's like 5%. So a lot of people rent houses out here, and when the rent is as low as it is, we're going to catch everything from people looking for low rent to people with large families trying to save money, maybe to buy their own house or whatever. But there was also a small percentage of people that are going to look for that low rent that we really don't want. Those are the people that are coming into our city causing trouble, doing drugs, selling drugs, and those are the ones that seem to be leaking into our city a lot more recently in the last year or two. And what we need to do is see what can we do to make things better. When they rent an apartment and they get kicked out, or they decide to move out or something like that, and they don't call City Hall, that bill keeps accruing. So with that being said, that's why we got $240,000 to $260,000 worth of debt towards our sewer and trash. There is a solution to this, and we brought that to the city council, that there's another city in Alabama right now that was having the same issue, and they passed an ordinance to where the municipality's utilities could not be turned on in the tenant's name. It could only be turned on by landlords, which would mean that we'd give the landlords a certain amount of time before we could have the utilities turned over in their name. In the event they don't pay their bills, they can put a lien on the property. They can pull their business license so they can't rent the property anymore. These are things that can be done, but we can't do at the present time because everything's in the tenant's name, and the landlord can't be punished for what a tenant does. What landlords do, though, they are responsible for their tenants. They're the ones that rent the property out to whoever. And like I said, we have a lot of tenants in the city that are great. They're good people. I'm not trying to sit there and say all the tenants, all the renters and all the landlords are evil and doing it. No, they're not. There's a small percentage of that, and that plays a big part in a crime that we have here in Chickasaw. So that's one of the things that we're trying to issue to fix. And the $70, either way it goes, the tenant's going to have to pay for it. They can either pay for it to the city, or they can pay it with their rent to the landlord, and the landlord can pay it. But when the tenant moves out, then you know the landlord's going to call City Hall and say, "Hey, turn off the services to this property. Nobody's no longer living there," and that should fix that problem. I think they got a little misunderstood. I wasn't trying to see if that solution was going to fix the $240,000 to $260,000. No, that's not what that was for. That was being proactive for the future. That's to stop it from happening anymore, and that's why I brought that up. I am happy to say that the mayor has got our city lawyer looking into that to see if we can go ahead and pass that ordinance. Let's go ahead and move on to grants. Unfortunately, we haven't had any luck in turnout gear for our firefighters. They need that turnout gear so they can go into fires and not worry about getting burned up or anything like that. They have turnout gear now, but it is old and it's getting outdated and it's getting unsafe. So they need to get a new one. What we're going to do is check and see if we can get a grant from EMA, that's the Emergency Management Agency, see if they'll give us a grant for the new ones. Something else with the fire department we're working on is getting them a generator. At the present time, the back doors are the only doors that can be opened up manually. Everything else in the fire station is ran by electric, so they do need a generator. It's probably going to cost right around $35,000. Mobile Gas said that if we did that, they would go ahead and hook it up for us for free. Some stuff that's happening that's really cool is the Mesa project has begun over at Brooks Park. In a few weeks, that should be concluded. That's going to be phase 1, which is going to include a kayak launch. And I know a lot of people around here like kayaking, so that's going to be something really cool to look forward to. We're still waiting on a grant for our litter truck. We don't have that yet. Unfortunately, I don't know when phase 2 of that's going to be started. So when I find that out, I'll go ahead and let you all know. See what else we got. Something else happened. We have 3 bridges here in Chickasaw that's up for inspection. That's going to cost us about $30,000 to get those 3 bridges inspected. That needs to be done every couple of years. Adam Bourne's wife, Jenny Parker, was reappointed to our school board at the last meeting as well. Congratulations to her. She's one of the founding members of the school board, I believe. Also, we're going to be using our ARPA fund, which is the American Rescue Plan Act. That's the COVID money that we've been talking about that's been sitting there and not being used. I'm having a problem with this. And the reason why I'm having a problem with this is we brought this up to Barry Broadhead, and we told him that we believe that the essential workers should be receiving $5,000. It's 2 years too late on that. It should have been done a lot sooner, but it hasn't been done. They haven't been able to get their wage adjustments either, because we just, like Barry says, we literally don't have the money for the wage adjustment. We can't do that. But what we can do is reach into our COVID money and give them some money to tide them over till we can do something about that. We do have plans in works to where we're going to see if we can work together and get more money coming into the city, a substantial amount, enough to cover wage adjustments and all that kind of stuff. We do have a plan for that, but I don't know how that's going to turn out at the moment. This is one of the things we have to agree to disagree on. I don't agree with what was done with this. When I said, I brought it up, I said $5,000 for the city workers. What he wanted to do was split some of the money paid now, some now and some later. It's like a retention kind of bonus, but that's not how this has turned out. When he brought it to the council and they voted on it, it was, instead of being the $5,000 that I'd asked for, or even $4,000, I told him that'd be good. But unfortunately, what they agreed upon was $1,500 now, and then $1,500 in a year. I don't believe that's enough to carry them until we can get the wage adjustments in. This money isn't coming out of our city funds. This is something that's been sitting there, and that's what it's for. It is made to take care of our essential workers. It can be used for assets, for future assets in Chickasaw, which does include the water. I don't know what's going to happen with the water. We haven't heard back from Pritchard. There's nothing happening with that. And so I don't understand why we're holding on to that money so tightly and letting other things fall to the wayside. This is something that should have been done. And the police.
5 minutes later.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to stop for a second. Anyway, back to the bonus thing. I thought it was going to be like a retention bonus where they were going to get a separate check so there wouldn't be any taxes taken out of it. I believe they're going to be putting that in their paycheck, which means taxes will be taken out, which means they're not going to be walking away with $1,500. They're probably going to be walking away with $1,100, $1,200 out of that check. And I just don't understand, because that's like 4 or 5 of the police officers aren't going to get the check. 2 or 3 of the fire department's not going to get the check. 1 or 2 of the maintenance guys aren't going to get the check. It's like this was supposed to help them. This is money that's not coming out of our funds. This is money that's sitting in a bank on a dream of trying to own Pritchard, the pipes under the city. This money needs to be used. It needs to help these people. That's what it's there for, and that's not happening. So again, this is one of those things that unfortunately it looks like we're going to have to agree to disagree on. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit that. And I'm going to ask Barry to please reconsider what's happening with this. Like I said, I don't know if those people aren't going to get that bonus because of something that Barry put into this or something that the one that pays the bills put in. I don't know why it changed from everybody to just a select few. And I don't understand why it's so low. I mean, we've got plenty of money in that account, and to do this, it's not going to take enough out of the account to where it's going to hurt saving that money for Pritchard Water. So I don't understand why it's not being taken care of. The next thing we were discussing was the strays and animal control. Mobile County can no longer take our strays. The only thing that they can take from us are any animals that are seriously injured or fierce animals, any animals that may be a danger. And you know what they're going to do with them. Here in Chickasaw, we do have a spot where we bring our dogs, our strays. It's not the optimal spot. We can't hold them for long. We can't hold that many of them. So we were proposing trying to see if we can solve that problem by building another shelter someplace else. We were looking at trying to do a fundraiser to see if we can get up to $10,000 for this. The dogs are going to need a place that we build that has water, sewer, plumbing, electricity, cages so they can go in and out. Of course, whoever the animal control officer is going to be, they'll be able to take care of taking care of the animal. But there's other things we're going to have to be concerned with. Another thing, I haven't had a chance to talk to Barry, but I'm going to bring this up to him about a 1023 payment plan. And what that is if you're over 65 or disabled, it's going to cost $10. For everybody else, it's going to be $20 for any dogs that are spayed and neutered, and $30 for any dog that's not spayed or neutered. That's per dog, per year, that we pay to the city for a license. When we go to get the license, we show them a rabies vaccination and then give them a picture of the dog. That way, in the event it ever gets loose, we can go ahead and get the dog back to the rightful owner. Between that, the fines that we get for picking up dogs and donations and stuff like that, we should be able to have enough money to go ahead and get this started. Sitting here waiting on it might not be the best answer. I think the best answer is to go ahead and put this in the works. Waiting on a chip finder or a chip reader and all that kind of stuff, we really don't need to do that. We need to go ahead and start working on getting these licenses out there so we can start getting some money to take care of these animals. I know some people don't want to have to pay taxes on something like that because some people don't have dogs, they don't have cats. Technically, it's really not their problem, but it is our problem if we're dog lovers and cat lovers that need to take care of these things. And I think with that in place, that we should go ahead and help take care of some of the burden on the city as far as like vet visits, food, and running the shelter. Trying to think what else. So yeah, I think that's about it. They did go over some more stuff, and like I said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the pre-meeting and the council meeting. I just wanted to give you guys an update on some of the things that was going on, and hopefully this bonus can be revised some way to actually help them. After talking to a lot of people in the city, it's hard for them to be grateful for this because it's so little and so late. And it's, like I said, to sit there and say, well, where are we going to get the money? We don't have the money. This has nothing to do with city money. We do have the money. It's sitting in a bank account. It's the money that we got for COVID. So we do have it. There's really no excuse why we can't do this for our city employees who are having a hard time right now, because while other cities were getting bonuses for COVID and wage adjustments, only a select few in this city actually received any kind of help during the pandemic. So I'm going to turn this over to the city council. Hopefully we can get some of this fixed and we can work on some other things. And the more I know, the more I'll tell you. So God bless my neighbors and God bless Chickasaw.
And in front of screens, my eyes just throbbing.
Sorry, nothing like being late, is it? Okay, yours.
we don't have too much tonight, so if y'all were okay with it, we'll just give him a few minutes, to give y'all a chance to peruse the things.
So JR's coming?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna make another quick copy.
Stacy, did you happen to bring us a big bag of grant money
Yeah.
tonight?
Yes, sir, as always.
We are looking for some funds, turnout gear for our firefighters.
Right, yes, I talked to Michelle about that.
You did?
today.
Okay. You think there's some possibilities there?
No, not that I'm aware of,
Okay.
at the moment. I sent her in the direction of reaching out to the county about that.
I know there will come a time when they will tell us, no, and we have some asks in right
Yeah, that's
now
what she was
that
saying.
are potentially, no's, because they were very generous with us in the Valley Road repair, when it was, $150, they gave us $150, and then it went over, in terms of bid, they gave us $50 more for $200 for that repair. I don't know if they'd give us, it's 50,000, they're ready for the turnout gear. So,
I-
EMA? Would
That's,
EMA go?
that's what I was gonna say, that my other thought was I'm gonna contact EMA tomorrow.
Okay. Well, the turnout gear for the firefighters through EMA, see if they can help us with that.
We got an email the other day, and I'm not sure. See if I can find it. We might be able to get it through hazard mitigation,
All of it?
don't know. but
Yeah,
I'll-
that's through EMA,
Mhm.
yeah. We
Okay.
can definitely put in for that round, I mean, that,
And
you
my
know,
take-
timing wise, that's a little ways off still. But
Oh, let's see, we gotta have it completed by June 23.
that's the letter of intent, it's
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
application.
Yeah. And then maybe we can get maybe we can get a generator for the fire department out of that,
We can definitely ask for a generator.
but we have to have something extra to that, what is it? There's something else we can have with the LOI that goes with that.
Do we have anything open on the grant that
We have to do a
the
benefit.
current grant that we have? No?
We have to do a benefit cost.
That's not, during the application phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generator,
But,
right,
right,
right.
yes, but just to submit a letter of intent.
Right.
We were just gonna know which, where you want it, and what the KW is.
30K.
35,000 is the current quote that we have on a fire station generator.
Okay, great,
Mobile Gas will give us the connection for free. There's it's all electric.
okay.
I don't know why it was built all electric and no opening windows, but, Mobile Gas will give us we'll need a transfer switch, but I think that would cover that.
Okay, yeah, well, we can definitely pursue that, it's an HMDP grant, they take a long time,
Okay,
but we can go down that.
great. They are, they can open the doors at the back doors with chains, but everything else in there is a dead stick when the power's out.
But you think, but it's been sized in a
35K, that will be fine.
35.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
When the engineers first came out, they were saying like 100K,
Yeah.
we're not trying to power the whole city, man. We just need to run a firehouse. So yeah, 35. Clint A.
Great. Well,
Hospital right now,
how you doing?
Oh, tired.
Breathless. All right, Stacy, thank you for being here with us tonight. We'll let you go ahead and start.
Okay, great, yeah. I don't have a lot to go over, but just thought I'd give a quick update, so. On the Gamesa Phase 1 on Brooks Park, I know y'all have been waiting very, very patiently see construction start out there, but it's gonna start next week. And they have everything they need to complete it within, a few weeks' time. They have all the, including all the kayak, equipment that they need to get the kayak launch going and everything, so.
What day are they looking at starting?
I don't, Chuck had told them, they wanted to start this week, but Chuck had told them they had needed to hold off because y'all were having some events.
Saturday, yeah, kayak, paddle,
Yeah, but, so I'm not exactly sure which day. I would assume Monday.
Okay. If we can find out, and if we need to close that area for, commercial, not for commercial, but for recreational use and the boat launch, then we would need to do that, the night before, because folks get there dark 30 to launch their boats and,
Got it.
and get out
Okay.
there. So,
Second,
Monday, what is Monday? First. If they start Monday, then we would need to close it Sunday night.
Okay, I'll check with Chuck immediately.
Okay, all right.
We're just waiting to hear back on the CDBG grant that we submitted to the county. They normally announce those in June, so we should know soon on that. With the Mobile County Commission Restore funding, they have put the request for qualifications for the engineering firm out, and it's being advertised right now. They're gonna close that on May 19th, and then go through their, selection process, which they will conclude in June. So they should have a firm on board. Chuck Starling is putting in for that, but it has to be completed because of the federal regulations, so. They should have a firm on board in July, so that should be moving, the design of that. Which shouldn't take long, it's just CIPP lining and manholes. The litter trap grant, I haven't heard anything back on yet. They've not announced those, so hopefully we'll hear something soon. GOMESA Phase 2 of Brooks Park, we should hear back on within the next few months. And then the CDBG disaster funding, which is gonna be that huge pot of money that the county's getting, that's CDBG eligible projects. They're starting the planning phase right now for that, so, we will start to get involved with that soon so that we can make sure that the city of Chickasaw that you get your fair share. And then we will put in a letter of intent for, the latest round of the county's HMG money for a generator for the fire station. Those are due in June.
Thank you, Stacy. A lot of good stuff going on. You're welcome to stay with us, or whatever you like to do.
Thank you for
Thank
letting
you.
me go first.
Sure. All right, a few things with us tonight. First is the Volkert Bridge inspection. This is 2023 and 2024 bridge inspections. These are 3 bridges that the city of Chickasaw owns. We own one on Barratera near Jim Hanson's house. We own the bridge, the Eloise Close Bridge, and we own one on the other side of the viaduct that people call Mike Box Bridge. It's going towards our pump stations. Well, we have to have these inspected, and we do this every couple of years. Volkert does this for us. The cost for these 2 years, $30,000. So that's the first thing there. The second thing is this is the month that we reappoint City of Chickasaw school board members. Parker, Jenny Parker, yeah. She is one of our, I think she's our only original school board members. She is interested in continuing on, and and I recommend that she, be reappointed to the school board there. The other item is resolution number 2310, and this is something that we will do out of our ARPA funds. We are permitted to use these in this way, and what this will do is this will be a $3,000 amount paid over 2 years to each eligible full-time employee. So the cost of this will be around $100,000. And the reason for this is that we are not very competitive in terms of our pay right now. Our starting pay, and certainly, able to change that with anything that we have in terms of revenue that we know of, revenue that we think might unexpectedly drop from the sky, and that is just not happening. Michelle did a recap of where we are in the fiscal year with where we are in terms of revenue and expenses. At the end of March, we were at the 50-yard line. And we are right on track, and we have been tight. We have justified every single expense that we have made. We have not made investments in new vehicles. We have bought 1995 vans from other cities to try to, get as much out of this year as we can. So we did a small raise that we could do when some positions were consolidated and some individuals retired, and we were able to do that, but there's not a sum of money to do that now. So this will allow us to give our employees something to say, here's this, and here's this now, with the hope that we can at some point do something else for them. But it will require additional revenue than we have been able to find in our usual means. And that is a question for all of you and all of the citizens to look at later down the road in terms of where we want to be. Do we want to continue to be, marginal and tight and, pay at the bottom level, or do we want to be competitive and have a good range of experienced employees? Because folks are leaving right now, and we're not replacing the seasoned people that are leaving.
Hopefully spread that over a 2-year period will help our retention.
I think it's a good idea, Jim, and I hope that it does as well. But $100,000 is not a big hit to our ARPA funds. It allows us to hold on to an amount, a core amount, that if whatever happens with our utility situation next door, we are in a position to make that purchase, make that offer, and that be settled as well. So, any questions about that?
I'm sorry, I'm curious, what was that again that we're doing?
We're using ARPA funds. We're going to pay each full-time city employee $3,000 over 2 years.
$1,500.
$1,500 each.
$1,500 May 1st, 2023, and $1,500 May 1st.
Yeah, and it's
When the others reach that,
Okay.
Right.
They gotta make that,
But they have to have spent a year here.
yeah. Before they'll be on.
Year longevity.
yeah. Right. And that's it. Nancy, you have anything?
No, other than I was working on what Mr. Spinelli brought up, which was a good idea about the potential of changing our ordinance about trying to go after sewer bills and trash bills. There's one statute that makes it a little problematic, but I'd like to put it before the utility board on how we could potentially bifurcate the trash and garbage issue. There's also another way that we could possibly modify the language to where in the future, property owners can be forced to be involved with the billing system, but I need to get with Michelle on that, because I was told a while back when we were drafting this ordinance that it was problematic to have the property owners be on the bill if they had tenants in the actual. And I just need to get with her to remind me why that was an issue, because, there are several reasons why, but, obviously right now, the majority of the people that are getting billed are tenants, not property owners, but I can explain that in more detail if you would like it to be.
Is there anything that prohibits us from having, if the tenant is on the water, having the property owner on the sewer? Because Pritchard Water is independent to do whatever they would like, but is there anything that incompatibility is an issue?
That incompatibility doesn't really come into play necessarily, because this statute, which is 35-9-14, talks about sewer specifically. So that's the only thing that we're worried about. The garbage luckily doesn't mention anything about liens at all, so we could kind of follow the Selma ordinance if y'all wanted, but we would need to go in the billing system and say, here's your trash bill, which is separate from your sewer bill. And that can make it a little easier to at least go after the trash bill. The sewer bill, we would have to figure out a way to go down the road and have the owner being on the hook for the actual bill to avoid this statute coming into play about, because the way the statute reads, saying notwithstanding any other provision of law, any bill for sewer service received in the name of the tenant or tenants shall be the sole responsibility of the tenant or tenants and shall not constitute a lien on the property. So we just have to avoid that. It basically be, the ordinance would have to be rewritten in a fashion to say no one can sign up. All owners of property, including lessors, have to be the ones that are named on the accounts. And that's, it'd be a little awkward. We might have some pushback from landlords. Doesn't mean it's not doable. Like I said, when we first talked about this 3 years ago, it was more about our billing system having an issue with it than anything. As long as our billing system can handle it, then it wasn't a problem legally. It's just making sure we can do it.
Even if we have to separate it, that's not the most ideal thing, but it's better than nothing. It's better than keeping it together and having it continue to grow, because I think the last delinquent amount that we looked at was, what was it, 264, 246, something like that, in the thousands. And, the sewer amount, that's what we use to maintain our lagoon, but also, our pipes and pay our utility employees and all of that. But that's important, but the garbage portion, that's what we use. I mean, that's basically just a pass through. So we've got to, we've got to pay that.
So, but the main thing is if their bill is really high, we pull a trash can, so we're not being charged for that. So, I mean, let's say people who are at $2,000, their trash can's been full, we're not getting a bill for their trash. So they don't have a can, it's more the sewer. That's the
But
issue.
pulling the trash can, while it does that, it also does this. It puts a situation there
Where
that
they're using.
illegal
I agree.
dumping and garbage burning, and,
I totally
we had that on Southwest where, somebody just took it all across the median there and put it there, last week. And situation with people buying a burn barrel, like 1964 or something, and they could burn, burn their garbage.
Had them for a while and they stink.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to make it clear too, if you modify this ordinance this way, it's gonna make a lot of people start over at clean slates with new accounts. So we're not gonna be able to go back and get those $2,000 accounts with this new ordinance. It's just gonna be like finally stitching them.
I don't think that we would ever get those amounts anyway. We've got a system where, you know, this service, goes out for, what is it, state refunds or federal refunds or both? Anyway, state, okay.
Can't do the federal.
So that is a trickle, you know, back to us. I mean, it's hardly worth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you'll probably never get most of that anyway, because those people are long gone.
Yeah.
I would say one thing from an accounting perspective, ideally, those two things would be separate anyway. People would pay a separate garbage bill and a separate sewer bill. The fact that we lump those together is not really considered a generally accepted accounting practice anyway.
If we didn't have the percentage of tenant situations, then we could probably consider something like other cities have done, and they just, you know, they just set that up on their own. Like, they come up here, they walk in, there's 6 different garbage providers, they choose which one they want, you know. That's what some other cities have done, but we have 60%, you know, tenants, so that really doesn't sort of work, and we do get a better rate from one provider, you know, having it this way. So, yeah, having it separate, I don't know why they were ever combined like this in the first
I
place.
remember a long time,
Because
like
it
3
costs,
years
it
ago.
costs for every bill you send out.
Okay,
It was that, and we were also worried that people would come in and just pay the trash, because that was the only one we had to remedy. We were like, if we bifurcated them, then
Cause
they'd
usually,
say, hey, well, I'm gonna pay the trash, don't worry about the sewer.
cause usually what happens is you have a trash bill and then you have a water sewer bill, and not just a sewer bill.
Yeah.
So you put, then you pay your sewer based on your water usage kind of thing, which
Yeah.
makes your sewer more cost effective.
yeah.
It's a bad situation.
Is everyone here sewer or is anyone septic in this town?
No, it's also.
Also,
I think there's like 1 or 2, but that's it.
Well, off the hook with septic.
was it?
Yeah.
There's a few houses that are on, I think it's Idlewood, that the original plans had septic, but they got tied in to city sewage, so.
All right. Well, that's it, folks.
Well, you got 60% tenants, but you
Good to bow your heads and pray, please. Lord, we're so thankful to be here tonight. Thank you, you blessed us, our city, your hand of protection and blessing has been on us, Lord. Ask you, Lord, that you would search our hearts, Lord, as we make decisions tonight that would affect our entire population and the businesses and the people that come to our city, God. Help us be wise in the things that we do tonight. We ask God that you would bless us and continue to protect all of our citizens in our city here. In the name of Jesus, we pray and ask these things, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Michelle, we have to call the roll, please.
Yes, sir. Jim Hanson?
Here.
Jennifer White? Here. Adam Bourne? Mayor Broadhead?
Here.
Nash Campbell?
Here.
J.R. Rawls?
Here.
Ken Sterry?
Thank you. Before we approve the adoption of the agenda, there's a missing item here, which I'd ask the council to please write in public comment. That is, after accounts payable, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So maybe. That'll be full miscellaneous business announcement. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Motion by Jennifer White, second by J.R. Rawls. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Prior to the meeting, the minutes were circulated and there was a correction noted. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as corrected from our last meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Jim Hanson, second by Jennifer White. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I'd like to abstain.
Okay. Moving now to our business items. The first item is a routine business. The city has 3 bridges. We have what is labeled the Eloise Club's bridge that goes over the viaduct there. We have what is on Viaduct Road that some call, it's not really named this, but folks call it the Mike Box Bridge on Viaduct Road, and we have one on Barraterra. These are 3 bridges that the city owns, and periodically we have to have those inspected. So this first item is to approve bridge inspections for 23-24, not to exceed an amount of $30,000.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jennifer White, second by J.R. Walls. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The next item is city school board appointee. April is when we do this. This is our last meeting, and up for reappointment is Jenny Parker. Jenny Parker is one of the city's original board members, and she has expressed interest in continuing on for another 5-year term on her role as the school board. Is there a motion to approve the reappointment of Jenny Parker?
I'll make the motion that we reappoint Jenny Parker.
Second.
Motion by Ken Starrett, second by Jim Hanson. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The next item is a resolution. And this is resolution number 2310, authorizing a lump sum salary supplement for City of Chickasaw full-time employees that qualify for this. This will be effective on May 1st. This will be distributed in 2 tranches, $1,500 for 2023 and $1,500 for 2024. This amount will not exceed $100,000. This will be $3,000 in total for each eligible city employee. The source of this funding is the American Rescue Act, and this is eligible funding. Some other cities have done this, and this is a measure that is most desperately needed because comparatively, many of our employees are underpaid in comparison to other cities. We are not in a place at this point to do an across-the-board wage adjustment. We did some raises recently, but we cannot do another. We can take this measure. So this is a measure to retain the city employees that we have now while we work on measures to make something more lasting, something more long-term, because we are not competitive as a city, and we have to compete not with just other cities around us, but with the county and the state. And there are a lot of cities that pay their employees a lot more than we do. We have a lot of good employees, and they really deserve this, and I hope that this will lead us in the steps of making something that will be more lasting for our employees in the future. So that is resolution number 2310 explained. Is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Jim Hanson, second by Ken Starrett and J.R. Rawls. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Hold on, I can't clap. Somebody clap. That's like really big. Thank you.
Accounts payable, we have in line, $48,957.85.
Is there a motion to put these in line for payment?
Just for clarification on that was for some renewal of software required and some of the shipments for the rock.
What item are you asking, Councilman Rawls?
We've got 1041 is gonna be personnel board payout, which is gonna increase it for this month, that's required, and then 171 was the rock shipment, and 4442 is the security software updates.
Rock shipment, was because Fox Street, which is a street that is scheduled on pay-as-you-go, was in such bad shape that, residents that live on that street, I think there are about 6, were having difficulty navigating the road. Emergency response vehicles were having some difficulties as well. So we made the investment in the rocks and having that spread.
That's on the side of the irrigation ditches over on that side too, right?
Pardon?
Irrigation ditch that runs, Jason Fox there as well.
Yes. And what was the other item you were asking?
We had the security software update.
Where's that?
Top of the same page, be item 4442.
That's the yearly fee for that.
Yeah, yeah, that's the
Annual.
security cameras that we have.
And just offering some insight as far as why there was an increase for this year as well.
Was that a standard increase, Michelle, for the driven security?
No, I'm talking about as a whole.
Oh,
He's
The
like,
amount
for the
from last
total?
month as well for
Yeah.
accounts payable.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay,
That's it.
all
I
right.
think it just all hit kind of about the same time.
All right. Did we answer?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Is there a motion to put accounts payable in line for payment?
So moved.
Motion by Jennifer White, second by Ken Starrett. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, public comments.
I'm sorry, Cheryl Lynn. You come up to the podium, state your name and address.
How y'all doing tonight? My name is Cheryl Lynn, my address is 157 10th Avenue. I was, here to complain about the way things are going. I've been here since, 2007. I've been living in Chickasaw on 10th Avenue. And I have seen a tremendous change, a big change. In the last 4 years, it's extremely changed. And everything around here has been terrible. And I've been buying my house, rent to own, and now I'm through paying for it. I just got through paying for it this month, was my last month. And I got through paying for my house, and now I got to live in this. But when I started buying this house in 2007, I loved it. I loved the neighborhood. I loved everything about it. And I was more than willing to, to buy the house. I love my house, but I don't love the things that are going on around everywhere now. I mean, people are doing what they want to do. I even got a ticket for having my basketball goal out on the street. I got a ticket for that way back. But now, everybody basketball goal is on the street, nobody gets tickets. Sometimes they get ticket if I go up and complain about it. Sometimes they get ticket if I go up and complain about their yard not being cut. And the grass growing up real tall. The church over on 9th Street, the grass going all the way around the fence. So when you go up to the stop sign, if a child riding a bicycle up and down the street, a child come out from behind that bush where that church is on 9th Street, where the grass is up so high on the fence and the bush is up so high. And if a child riding a bicycle, my grandson ride up and down that street, and the car come by and don't see that child because that grass is up so high and the bushes is up so high. And it's just a lot of bushes growing up, a lot of empty houses, nobody's doing the guy, if I go to him to complain, I can't think of his name. It's the inspector. Everything I say to him and go to him and complain about, but I can't do it all by myself. I can't see all these houses. I can't do it all by myself. Everything I complain to him about, he go get him ticket, get him warning, he does his job. But he cannot do it all by himself. He had help before. He has no help. No help. And the officers, they used to ride him down the alley and everything. We don't have enough officers no more. I don't know what's happening to our officers. I don't know what's happening to a lot of stuff that's going on in Chickasaw. I'm just concerned.
Thank you, Ms. Matt.
Next person we have is John Clark.
Good evening. Got 2 things, I'll be quick. My understanding.
Clark, I'm sorry, you have to state your address too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, sorry.
I've been here so many times, I thought everybody knew it by now.
Yes.
264 West Lee Street, Chickasaw. And please drive by my house that's recently been renovated, and it'll be right next to Bill Vagan's, ice shaving business. So, I welcome you to, I'm so proud of my house now. My parents bought their house in 1956, and it looks great. That's my opinion. Two things. My understanding that, the city is without a K-9 unit at this time. I wanted to know if the city would be interested in me researching, grants that may be available, identifying. I would have to turn them over to the city because the grants require that it be filed by the law enforcement agency. My question is, if there's any interest, please let me know, and I'll be happy to do that. Second thing, last meeting, y'all mentioned the program that the high school is doing on renovation on the city-owned property. I just think that's fantastic. My question is, have you considered a similar group of volunteers analogous to, say, Habitat for Humanity, but obviously not building houses, but may be able to assist with some repairs with own city property? I have no idea about liabilities or any of that thing, anything of that nature. I just wanted to address that issue. And with that said, I would like to volunteer, if the city so needs, my skills and expertise working, volunteering on the Brooks Park, on the William Brooks Park, renovation. Instead of going through everything, I'm handing out resumes so that y'all will have the opportunity to look and see if I have a skill set that you think would be useful to the city. I did it under 3 minutes.
Thank you.
And next is Dakota Bewley.
Hi guys, my name is Dakota Bewley. I live at 2 Oak Street and I'll be speaking on the budget. I wasn't prepared for the $1,500 raise when I wrote this, but I think that's absolutely amazing. It's great that you guys are doing that for the police officers or all the employees. The city of Chickasaw is losing employees from the police department at an alarming rate. The amount Chickasaw offers in salary just can't compete with the offers of surrounding cities. We need to take action, and fast. I believe a raise in our current officers' hourly pay rates and a raise in the hourly pay rates of prospective new officers is possible now, before any property tax raises. Other cities, such as Robertsdale and Dolphin Island, are able to pay dollars more with a similar amount in revenue. Chickasaw can raise hourly pay rates with a simple plan. Step 1, lower public safety equipment budget by replacing funds with grants and fundraising. I have 3 grants here that I think are valuable to our public safety currently. There's the Firehouse Subs Foundation grant, which I had talked to with J.R. Rouse before. It's for $35,000. There's also the Project Safe Neighborhoods grant. It doesn't list how much it's for, but it does help with training and in neighborhoods that need a little bit more help. It does give out money for that. Then there's also the Bulletproof Vest Partnership, which gives $1,500 for new bulletproof vests. We also have done about $3 grand in fundraising, and I'd like to see a bit more of that. Step 2, we can reduce vehicle expenses by auctioning off old vehicles and leasing new vehicles instead. I don't have the numbers that I really need to correct these, but I do know that the vehicle expenses are very high, and it's because we have old vehicles that need a lot of maintenance. So, I've also noticed that the police safety vehicles, many of them are unused, and they could be auctioned off for money. In step 3, we can bring more money into the city. At Brooks Park, it's an honor system right now, but I believe that if we installed a camera, the fees would be insured to be collected. We could also offer seasonal passes for people who come there very often, just to try to encourage them to come more often. We could also do things like have a swim team for our city pool with swim meets and concessions, and offer dance classes for all ages at the Civic Center. And finally, we could recruit new businesses with a community day to showcase those businesses that we have currently. And I think it's the Chamber of Commerce could come and recruit. If applied correctly, this plan could free up and generate between 50 grand to 100 grand in the budget that could be put towards public safety salary.
Thank you.
If I could, just one thing you mentioned about was raises, what we just approved, it ends up being $125 a month for the next 2 years to every employee. So that's, we try to help as much as we can.
Yeah, that's amazing.
No miscellaneous business or any announcements? Motion to adjourn? Motion by J.R. Rawls, second by Jennifer White. Jennifer White?
Right.
All those in favor? Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you all for coming.